Woo! Okay. One of these days, I'm gonna get all this tech stuff. Bam, bam, bam. I was closer today. I was closer. Good, good morning. What's happening to my voice? I just had a massage this morning, so you get massage face. How's your week so far? We're kicking it off. It's Monday. It's time to reset and rise. Always a good plan. Always a good plan to reset and rise. Hello and welcome if you're new to this, whether you're watching live. If you're watching live, say hello. Let me know that you can hear me and see me. And also, if you're watching the replay, say hello. If you can hear and see me, you can let me know that as well in the comments. Love to see the comments. We are just really getting this started. So each and every week here to answer questions. And I brought some questions today because I had questions submitted and I had questions come up from clients and client sessions, and they were good. They were really good questions. So we're going to cover that as well. But what is the purpose here? The purpose here is, of course, not just videos and not just me talking at you, but to start a conversation. And also, let's get some good stuff out in the open. Because one of the questions that my client asked maybe something that you are experiencing in your life as well. Maybe you're known for this. I know that I am. I am known for this as well, being this person, this type of person who does this type of thing. And so that's really exciting. But what we want to do here is create more of this community feel and creating and opening, starting conversations so that we can clear the energy faster. You can clear the energy faster and get moving with your life. One thing I'm going to say too is I'm trying a new setup. If you were here last week, my camera cut out. And so I had to switch. I think I switched to just the audio right at the end. So I'm trying a new setup. It's all this tech fun, fun things that you learn as you start doing this because I don't want this to cut out on us. Oh, I also don't want my battery to fall out of my light here. That would be really noisy and very bad. So let's get on to the questions. Let's get into the questions. And then we'll see what excuse me, we will come up with the answers because that's also the point is to um, present the questions, present the topics, and then drop some insight. Have you also searching on your side of this screen for insight? That's really the goal, too. It's not just that I have all the answers. The point of what we talk about here and why we talk about the topics that we do, so that you can sit with it and say, how does that feel for me? What am I noticing that's coming up for me? Does that feel true for me? Do I like that? Do I align with that? Or, I actually have a different take on it because the most important thing is your insight. When it comes to your life, it is about your insight. When I'm working with my clients and when these questions came up, I can give perspectives, I can frame things out. When it comes to things that involve universal laws, spiritual laws, those don't change. Spiritual laws are what they are, and there are many of them. In fact, in the collective, I have 12, kind of the 12 spiritual laws, 12 main ones, and I have a little handy guide so you can read about them. And also, oh, have I noticed that coming up in my life? How have I navigated that? Am I using that spiritual law in my favor? Or did I not even know that's what was going on? And is my ego framing it that I'm doing something wrong or weird, or I should be doing it differently? We always want to work with, work with our spiritual laws so that they help us, right? So you get help that way. So let's dive in. And what I should have done, what I can do, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do, even if just in case you're watching this, is to present. I'm going to put the question right up here on the screen. Now, again, as I'm going through this first one, ask yourself, ooh, have I experienced that? Have people said that about me? Um, Here we go. Let's do this one right here. We're going to do this one first. This has to do with how you show up in relationships, perhaps when I'm not going to scroll it though. We're just going to add it. Here we go. Perhaps when there's something coming up like a deep topic or conflict, could be conflict. Um, and so maybe you are the one who wants to address it. I'm adding the other one so I have it ready to go. Oh, okay, so what do you do when you're always the one starting the deep conversations? Now, this can be again, there's tension, there's conflict. The way that my client said, she said, I get frustrated with others who don't always put themselves in other people's shoes. So they're not always assessing things like, oh, how does that feel for the other person or what might they be going through? And when it comes to being happy, sorry, selling things on marketplace, I'm getting pops every 5 seconds on things. And so also in those relationships, in those conversations, and she was talking with someone else in her life, and that person said to her, oh, you're so good at that. You're so good at bringing up these topics. I wish I was like that. I'm not very good at that. And I want you to know that everyone can be better at it. It's not just that some of us are the only ones who can communicate, but some of us are willing to have those conversations. Okay, it's true. I will say it is true that some of us are better at sensing that something is up. Why is that? Could be other people don't want to deal with it, so they're not going to acknowledge it. Some people, they just have shut it off. So they're like, "Ooh, I'm not good at that. I'm not even going to bring it up." And so they pretend it doesn't exist. There's a lot of reasons why. And there are reasons why people do that because they've had circumstances in their life or situations where conversations didn't go well. They were taught that this is a big one I hear all the time. I'm just not good at dealing with confrontation. Oh, I don't like confrontation. And so immediately that frames what and defines confrontation as a very negative thing. Confrontation, I'm confronting something, does not, where in that does it say with screaming, yelling, being angry? But that is how confrontation gets a little upset about that. It's like, why am I always the bad guy? Why do people always think that I'm yelling, right? Or that I'm screaming, I'm angry? Not true. It simply means let's put it all out on the table, take a look at things and see what we can do to make it better. Let's see what we can do to resolve this. So, if in your mind, or you have ever said yourself, ooh, I don't like confrontation, I'm not good at confrontation, then you want to say, how can I redefine that? Confrontation, if that is the way to my peace, I'll get good at it. I'll say, and so we did talk about that as well. And with my client, I was explaining, and I recommend this for you, for me, God, everyone in the world, if everyone came to every situation and circumstance with their heart, with a caring approach, with consideration of others, there could be really healthy, amazing conversations. I mean, I think Charlie Kirk was a really good representation of someone who could have a conversation without getting angry, raising his voice, attacking, etc. But in our minds, for some reason, confrontation, and it's usually for some reason, I'll tell you the reason. It's because we've had experiences where we brought something up and someone attacked or responded with or like reacted with a lot of anger, a lot of tension. Okay. We don't have to do that. I want truth. I want the answers. I want to know what's going on. And I want to get to a peaceful place where if there is tension, if there is icky energy, I want to resolve that as fast as possible. So, open conversations, some of us are willing to go there. And isn't it a good thing? Why? Because we sense it. We don't like to sense tension, right? And again, if you're popping in live, say hello, drop a comment, let me know you're there, and let me know what's resonating about this topic. It is also true the better you get. So with my in my client's situation and with what we had been working on together, I said to her, when we started working together, you were good at sensing if there was tension, sensing the energy, reading the energy. She's very energetically gifted that way. Didn't have, though, the energy skills. So was getting pulled into other people's energy and then really worrying how would they react if I say this, will they say that? She was already jumping ahead. That's her ego. Our ego can pull us ahead and put us into the conflict. It immediately creates a scenario. And what is that that hasn't happened yet? But has it happened before? So if it's based on the past, then that conflict is already painted in our mind, and now we're tense. I don't want to have that conversation. No one does. I don't know. No one wants. Let me go have a really tense, uncomfortable, awkward conversation that's awful. I don't want that. But what I do want to talk things through. I'm always that person. I want to find our way through this. I want to resolve the tension because I don't like living with tension. One, physically uncomfortable, not healthy for us, changes everything about your physiology, your heart rate, just everything, how you breathe. Bleh. And your mind will continue to create those catastrophic scenarios, how bad it could go, right? Nah, no one really wants that. So for me, I try to lead with peace. How do I want it to be? Let's stay calm. Let's open it up. I want to hear what is the truth for you. Here's my perspective. Here's what I was feeling. How how did it spin for you? Because if those are really mismatched and we're coming into the conversation with that tension, of course it can spin out of control again. But the point is that we do all have this ability to have decent conversations and just hear each other out. Look at it from each side, right? Each perspective. Oh, hadn't really looked at it like that. I didn't know that that was how you saw things. I didn't know that that's what you're feeling on your side. Being frustrated with other people because they're not willing to do that or don't do that, I completely get it. Yep, I said to her, I can't really tell you too because you're deciding to be the person who's speaking for peace, which is basically, I mean, that's one of my core values is inner peace. So if there's something going on in my life and my brain, a lot of times we get mixed up about ruminating on things. That ruminating on something is really bad. Your brain is trying to help you search for resolution. Your brain is going to process, and it keeps going through it. Was it this? Was it this? Was it? And so you have to take charge of that and say, "Now, wait a minute. There's no way for me to know. I cannot guess the other person's perspective unless they tell me. And hopefully they're truthful and peaceful. If I ask in a loving, peaceful way, I just want to know this is how I was feeling. What's going on for you? Was I reading it wrong? Did I take it personal? Was there something else? I can also search for something. How could I have handled that differently? Could I have asked this in the moment? Could I have done this? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Many times, once you get really good at communicating as well, you kind of feel it out. And in the moment, this is not the moment because you're in an environment, there's other things going on. But at the right time, and I have also found that it will organically come up. Something will come up and it's a very different, calmer energy. And then I can say, yeah, I did notice that. What was going on? And then it's a really good conversation. Where in the moment it might have been too hot, too fresh, too something. And the person might have been a little more guarded, defensive, something. I, in the moment, might have also a different energy or a different tone. So what do you do when you're always the one starting the deep conversations and not getting frustrated with other people? I try to really understand that not everyone has worked on their energy skills. Not everyone has worked on their communication skills. Most people have everyone, we all have experiences in our life that weren't fun. They were negative. What if that person, when they brought up how they feel about something, they were immediately shut down by someone and made to feel really wrong, really bad? Do you think that they're going to get now one of two things going to happen? They're going to get really good at bringing things up and staying in their own energy, or they're going to never do that again. Okay, like I don't want to do that again. That was too tense. And so if that's the case, then they're not going to be someone who brings something up. I actually would rather, this is what I said to my client, I would rather be the person who's willing to have the conversation about something that is tense, uncomfortable, emotional, than just sit with it, not do anything about it. Because at least I'm proactive. At least I'm taking control of what I can do something about. I'm making an effort to have the conversation and say, what could be different about this? How could we look at this differently? Help me see your side of things. Here's where I was. And because of that, also people will turn to you as they do in my life, not only in my business working with clients, but also in my personal life. Many people come to me and ask, I don't know what to do with this situation in my life. How do I even approach this? How do I go about this? And so helping them really figure out, why is it coming up for you in the first place? What is it that you truly want? And if you say something like, well, I want the other person to just change, well, that sounds lovely. I do too. I want a lot of people to change, but I don't have control there. So, what do you ultimately want? I want to feel at peace with this, or I want to be able, and you'll know when that is, because when you have peace with something, you're not ruminating on it. You're not running through all the scenarios. You're not doing any of those things. You've moved on. There's other things that you're focusing on. And oh, yeah, by the way, that's the goal, is for you to focus on what you want to be focused on, for you to channel your energy into what you want to be doing, not ruminating on something you don't have any control of or worrying about scenarios that haven't happened. That does nothing good for you, and it certainly doesn't do anything good for your goals, your dreams, your desires, your health, your happiness. Just doesn't. So, let's focus on getting better at our energy skills and our communication skills, staying in our own energy, leading into conversations from the heart, and asking in a calm, reasonable way, those open ended questions that help us get to the truth so that we can resolve things. And yes, if there's people that you feel frustrated with because they're not willing to do that, or never, they just won't have those conversations. Well, those are people that, I keep in my mind, limited time with. If they're not willing to talk openly about things, or they have a very one-sided opinion all the time on whatever it is, or they have to be right and so you are always going to be wrong. Those are people that I keep very outside circles, not investing my time and energy with, not initiating things with. it's not enjoyable. No one wants to be around someone who's the I'm right about everything opinionated person. And it's not a good way to win what is it, to like win friends. It's just not. So I also don't want to be that person. I want to hear other people. I'm solid in my views and what I stand for, my values, knowing who I am, recommend that for everyone. Know who you are, know your values, stand strong in them, and don't like just blow in the wind with your beliefs and your values, but also be open-minded that other people have different views and I don't have to agree with them. And also, I'm not going to be forced to believe or just agree to what someone else says. All right. So, all right, let's go to our next question here. I think it was this one. Yes. Okay. So, this is another fun one that one of my clients had. She said, how do you stay connected with friends who live far away? She was feeling a little bit like left out. Okay. She was feeling a little left out. Her friend lives far away. She was also having fun these pivotal moments in her life. Her friend was having pivotal moments in her life. She said, how do I stay connected? I find that sometimes I feel left out of it or even lonely, feeling a little sad. And I miss my friends. I miss my friends. And she has had a couple that live far away. And she said, I miss them. I have this as well. I have a friend who lives in Arizona and she was just here last week. We had not visited in person for a few years. Before that, a lot of years, more than a few. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I could understand my son also lived in Colorado for a couple years. Uh, I said to her, I think we've been taught, we believe that to visit, stay connected, we need to be in the same room, like be in the same room with each other, be at the same space at the same time. That is true. Yes, there is nothing like being in the physical presence. When my friend arrived here at my house and she came in and we hugged, we started crying. Whenever I would see my son, when I would visit or if he would come here, I mean, it's still the same thing and they live in the state. Whenever I see, I want to hug them. And we're physical beings, we're spiritual beings, but we're physical beings. So being in the same physical space, being able to hug someone, even being able to, oh my gosh, hearing your voice live, there's nothing like that, but it's not truly the only way to stay connected. And I know this to be true too, because if you've had someone cross over, right? They've passed on, they've crossed over. The connection is energetic. This is the key. The only way to stay connected with someone is not in physical in physical presence. The connection is energetic. This is why someone can be far, 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 far away and your connection is not measured by miles. Your connection is measured by energy. It's heart and soul. It's what you feel. So you can get crafty about ways to do things together, even if you're far apart. Certainly, we can use technology in a lot of fun ways. There's Zoom calls, video calls, things like that. But it's also, this is going to come back to conversations. It's having those deep conversations to say, our friendship means so much to me, or our relationship means so much to me. I am that person. I have those conversations. I've had them more than one occasion, certainly throughout my son's lives, because they're growing and now they're adults, but you're transitioning through years, through phases of their life, through or chapters of their life, and your friendship is going to do that as well. My client happens to be at a point where she just got engaged. Her friend, you know, friends in their chapters are getting engaged or getting pregnant and announcing that they're pregnant. So these are big moments in life. And there are other big moments throughout our lives. It is about having the conversations, just little messages. So, like my friend and I, for example, my son and I, we do this too. To see a picture, snapshot, just snap the picture and send it to each other with a funny little note. Sometimes no note because I know that person on the receiving side will see it and laugh because they know what it means. Don't let those little things go. They're not little, they're significant. You have significant ways of staying connected. There's a reason why you're so connected with this person. So a lot of people will say, well, I know life, and she had said this too, my client, I know life changes and life pulls us in different directions. Not really. We just move through life and we get to decide who we stay connected with. It's easy too for someone, myself or the person on the other side of it, to assume, and my client also to assume, oh, look at, they're moving on. They don't really need me anymore. We're not as close as we used to be. That doesn't have to be your truth. Have those conversations. No matter where we live, no matter where we are, you'll always be my person. No matter where you live, no matter where we are, this will be something I would want to share with you in person, but I feel like you're here with me. I say those phrases a lot. I felt like you were right there with me. This was something I knew that you would laugh at. Even people downplay the significance of someone sending like a funny reel, or when my son, my youngest son, when he sends me something funny, I feel like I might be watching it at a different moment in time, but energetically, I'm laughing with him at this. He saw it, sent it to me. Why did he send it? He knew I would laugh. I see something, send it to him. Okay, maybe he doesn't laugh at all the ones I send. Just kidding. But we see this and think of that person. It's a way of saying, you think it's about the real? It's not. It's a way of saying, thinking of you. I'm thinking of you. That's what that is. Reels have sort of replaced, I guess, snail mail, which I guess it's good because we could send them more often and a lot more of them. But sending, you used to get a card from a friend in the mail or a letter from a friend in the mail, and you knew, oh, they thought of me because they sent this to me. Let's get back to remembering, thinking of you. I'm thinking of you. You mean a lot to me. We share the same sense of humor. This is what we have in common. It's easy also to think we don't have anything in common anymore. But if you still have the same sense of humor, you laugh at things, you see things out in the world, out in your day, take a picture, send it to your friend or your loved one and say, I saw this and you were the first person I thought of. I knew you would get this. I knew you would appreciate this. I knew this would make you laugh. Even though we live far apart and it can feel like we're going through life without each other, energetically, we don't have to be. But it's about having those conversations. And my friend or my client was very excited to have those conversations with her friend. She said, "You know what? You're right. I these relationships are very important to me, and no matter what we're going through, I think we can still go through them together, maybe not physically in the same space at the same time, but we can find other ways to celebrate them together and have that meaningful moment and share that together." This is what it's about. Man, life should be a series of meaningful moment after meaningful moment after meaningful moment. That is a mouthful, but I'm going to say it again, after meaningful moment, all of them, as many as possible, right? Strung together. If you create all of these meaningful moments, one after the other, like that, you have an amazing life. However, if we're going through life and we're not having those deep conversations, we're not acknowledging that this person means something. You mean something to me. You are the most valuable. You're one of the most valuable humans that I know. This relationship that you and I share is so important to me. Have those conversations. Oh, there's a deer right outside my window. See, good sign there. It's a nice, good sign, a sign of peace. We want to create a life that is fun and uplifting and, of course, but also meaningful. What's the point? What is the point of being here on planet Earth if it's not meaningful? Let's have the deep conversations. Let's invest in the relationships that really mean something for us, and let's also share even the simple things, not just the big monumental things or not just the big problems. Let's share the simple things, the ways of saying, today is an ordinary day, but it's a beautiful day because I thought of you. Or you're always with me, no matter where you are, no matter where I am, here you are, right here with me. That for me is that's what makes life worth getting up for, is knowing that I have these connections. This deer is so cute. It's eating the little weeds and just looking right at me. I wish you could see it. I would turn my camera around, but it'd probably mess everything up. Uh, and so those were just fantastic questions. How do you work with the distance? Her two friends live far away. I miss them. Can feel alone. She said life is just changing things. Also, on all of the questions that we answered today, ego has a way of spinning things. I'm left out. They're moving on without me. The other person's not willing to step in anyone else's shoes. No one else is willing to have these deep, important conversations. Let's not do that either. We are not victims. We we can do anything. We can do anything. We can make it different. We can improve things. You have the power to decide how things are defined in your life. You have the power to choose how you show up. Oh, there's two deer. Okay, it's not just one, it's two of them. So cute. All right, I always get distracted by animals. I do. They're so beautiful. They're just out there. They're just so peaceful. They're not worried about what the other deer said about them. You know what I mean? Humans. Humans say, "Oh my god, why did this happen? And why is this person like that? And why did that person?" And yes, I've done it too. When what I want the most is peace and love and joy and happiness, fulfillment, all my core values. I want to live by those. So, not, but life, like my client said, life does change things. Things do come up because life involves other people who may not live by those values, who may not even acknowledge. They don't even know what their values are. They're on some sort of train and it's barreling down the track, and they don't know where it's headed. They think they do. I don't know, whatever people do, but that's not my concern. My control is here with me, how I show up, how I uh, my perception, my perspective. I can control that. I can change it. I can shift it. And I'm willing to do that to get to the peace. I'm willing to do that to create more joy. And the fastest way to create more peace and create more joy in your life is to get rid of the chaos, eliminate the distractions, eliminate the chaos. If it's coming from a person and you've tried to have the deep conversations and the peace and the joy, or I'm sorry, the conflict continues to just sort of pour out of them, then that's a different decision that needs to be made, and how to move that person out of your core circle and move them to the outer circles, less time, less energy with them. Okay. So great questions this week. Again, we're here live every week to help you reset mindset, reset your mindset. And so you can rise, because the faster you do that, the more time and energy you have for such an amazing life. And that's what I'm here to help you with, because living aligned, living intuitive, living with more joy, it can be really simple. It's pretty amazing how simple it can be. And the fastest way to do that, let's get rid of the conflict. Let's just move it on out. How do we do that? Communication skills, energy skills, having the conversations, leading from the heart, being an example that way. And even if that's not what you receive in return, I'll tell you what you do get, you get clarity. Even if it's contrast, you will get crystal clear who is also willing to set down the conflict, work through it with you in a really positive way so that there's more peace, joy, and happiness and the good stuff. And if they're not, that is the clarity you need to move them to your outer circles and not invest that time and energy with that person. So either way, you're good. Might not be what you want on the one side of it, but you will have more peace. And you know what else? When you move people out of your life who are not peaceful people, they are drama, they start conflicts, or they just carry around a bunch of tension. If you move those people out of your life, you have space and time and energy for amazing people who want to have lighter conversations, want to have fun, want to enjoy life. People also that you can have deep conversations with, but it's not about conflict. It's about the meaning of your life. Those are great people to have in your life. That kind of person. It's a great person to have in your life. I choose in my inner circle, those are the kind of people I want. I want people who value my time, my friendship. They value my insight, my wisdom. I value in return the same from them. And that just creates really meaningful experiences. And it's not because you're doing something monumental. Sat with a friend over the weekend on her little patio area. We just sat in the sunshine. We had some snacks and we just chatted about all different things. And it was just an amazing afternoon. It was perfect. I loved it. It was great. And I left feeling better. I left feeling better about life. I left feeling better about my life, about my friendship, just feeling, yeah, right. Each time, actually, this was a serious week of friendships. I saw two friends who live out of state who happen to be here visiting. I visited with three other friends. It was friendship week in Nicole's life, I guess, and right on time. And after each conversation, after each visit, where we laughed, where we talked, where we joked around, we talked about deep things. We did all different things in the conversations. Bye, friends. The deer are leaving. Bye. Each time I felt, "Hmm, you want to be around people who make you feel more put together. You want to be around people where you can be yourself no matter what has showed up in your life. You can be yourself and that feels good. And they see you and they understand. Those are the people to surround yourself with. And they challenge. They challenge you to be better. I'd like to be around people who challenge. Have you thought of it this way? Have you tried this? Not just, oh, you know, surround yourself with people who make you feel more like yourself, who challenge you in positive ways, support you when you need it, give you a safe space to talk through something, and also reflect something for you that maybe you're not seeing, even if it's something you don't want to see. I have those friends as well, and I appreciate it. Oh, hadn't looked at it like that. That's really helpful. Thank you. So, this is really, I think, this week's questions were really all about is communication, relationships. It's always that. Come on now. Anytime someone comes to me, well, sometimes they'll say, "Oh, my space or my environment or my home, I have so much clutter. I want to get rid of that." There are times like that as well. But something's always tied to the people and the perspectives. There's people, perspectives, in our environment. We really want to look at those things because they're all intertwined. And when one is off, it starts to filter into the other one. And then all of a sudden, you feel cluttered in your relationships. You feel cluttered in your home or office. And then, of course, you feel cluttered in your perspectives, your beliefs, and on the inside. And everything just feels more complicated when we're in that state. So it is about clearing, getting clear about who you are, what you want, what you don't want, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what is causing the conflict. How can we resolve that as quickly as possible so you feel clear? Because when you feel clear, then you can channel your energy into your big ideas, your dreams, your goals, and you will feel healthier, you will feel lighter, you'll feel more vibrant, things come together faster, people want to know what you're up to. Wow, you look great. What have you been doing? How do I do that? Give me some of that. Okay, you'll have that kind of experience and that's fun. That's a lot of fun. So, that's a wrap for this week for Reset and Rise. Thank you so much for joining even if you're watching the replay. Hey, it's energetically we're here together like what I was saying earlier about the reels and it it is energetically being in this space with you is something that is so incredibly meaningful for me, and I appreciate that you're here. I appreciate that you tuned in and you're joining, and we'll be here every week. And hey, next week, bring your question. Ask me live. Let's have a conversation. I would love that so much. Well, then I'll see you next time. Bye for now.